Here you see the China in map, the yellow portion. This is the Western China. This is the northeast China. This is the southern part of China or southeastern side of the China. Now, the modern history of China centered around three questions. The first one is how to regain sovereignty, then how to end the humiliation of foreign occupations, and the third question is how to bring equality and development in China. Views of three groups of China regarding the issue. The first is the early reformers such as the Kang Hui in 1858 to 1927 and the Liang Quacho in 1873 to 1929 tried to use traditional ideas in views and different ways to meet the challenges posed by the West. The Republican revolutionaries, such as the Sun Yat-sen, the first president of the Republic, were inspired by ideas from Japan and the West. The Communist Party of China wanted to end the age-old inequalities and drive out the foreigners from the China. Now, the establishment of the Republic in China. The Manchu Empire was overthrown and a republic established in 1911 under the Dr. Sun Yat-sen, who is regarded as the founder of the modern China. Now, the Dr. Sun Yat-sen from 1866 to 1925. He came from a poor family and studied in missionary school where he was attracted to democracy, Christianity, and studied medicine, but was greatly concerned about the fate of China because he wanted to do something for their own country. Now, here you see the picture of the Dr. Sun Yat-sen. His program was called the Three Principles. The first one is the nationalism, overthrowing the Manchus. The first thing Dr. Sun Yat-sen did that he overthrowing the Manchus this government. Then the democracy establishing a democratic government. Then the second, the main program that to bring the democracy in the China and establishing the democratic government. The third one is the socialism, that the equalism, equality, regulating the capital and equalizing land holding. That the whole land he wanted that to equally share by the people of China. Now the Chinese people have only family and clan solidarity. They do not have national spirit. They are just a heap of loose sand. Other men are the carving knife and serving dish. We are the fish and the meat. This was the wording of the Sun Yat-sen on that time. Establishing the republic. Revolutionaries were asked for driving out the foreigners to control natural resources, to remove inequalities and reduce poverty. On that time, the revolutionaries they also wanted that the foreigners that throw out the foreigners from our countries because the foreigners they were control the natural resources of the China. So they were also wanted the equalities because on that time inequalities were also spread up in the China. So the revolutionaries wanted the equalities and they also wanted the equalities and to remove the poverty. Revolutionary advocated reforms like use of simple language, abolish foot binding and females subordination, equality in marriage and economic development. So all these things they were also wanted on that time. Then the Sun Yat-sen ideas based on the four great needs: clothing, food, housing, and transportation. They were also wanted the same things. Now, the establishing the republic. After the Republican Revolution, the countries entered a period of the turmoil. The Kuomintang The National People Party on that time and the CCP emerged as the major forces striving to unite the country and bring stability. Now, Gautam Mitang Party, Sun Yat-sen ideas became the basis of the political philosophy of the Kuomintang. They put forward four great needs: food, housing, clothing, and transportation. This was he also told that these four things are important, necessary for the development of the people. After the death of the Sun Yat-sen, the Chiang Kai-shek emerged as the leader of the Kuomintang. He launched the military campaign to control the warlords, regional leaders, and to eliminate the communists. He sought to militarize the nation. He encouraged women to cultivate the four virtues the of charities, appearance, speech, and work, and recognized their role as confined to the household. The Chang also encouraged the woman, okay, because he told the woman that to come forward, uh, start the speech, do forward in the come forward and show your appearance in the society, do work with the men. Now here you see the picture of the Chiang Kai-shek. Now, the Kuomintang social base was in urban areas. Urban workers, particularly women, earned very low wages on that time. Working hours were long and condition of work was very bad. The social and cultural changes was helped along by the spread of school and universities. Uh, the Peking universities was established in 1902 on that time. So on that time, the social and the cultural changes were also seen because of the spread of the many schools and universities. Journalism flourished, and the popular Life Weekly, edited by the Zhao Taofen, was so famous, and it introduced to readers new ideas and leaders like Gandhiji and Mustafa Kamal Pasha. They were also influenced from these people. In 1928, the national government was set up by the Kuomintang and Chiang Kai-shek elected as its president. But the government failed in all respects. Its narrow social base, neglect the peasantry, not consider the rising inequality, naturally failed to implement the socialist concept of Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Instead of solving the problem, the popular issues, uh, this Chiang Kai-shek tried to impose a military order. That's why Kai-shek was failed. Now the rise of the Chinese Communist Party in China. In 1937, Japan attacked the China. Instead of resist, the Kuomintang supported. Long war weakened the country, price hike 30% per month, misery of the people. We saw that the people, they were also they lived in a very miserable condition. Rural China faced two crises: one ecological with soil exhaustion, deforestation, and flood; second social and economic, exploitive land, tenure system, indebtedness, primitive technology, and poor transaction system. So that on that time there were the two type of the crosses the people of the China they were faced. Now the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) was formed in 1921 after the Russian Revolution. Its influence in the world politics. Soviets fought to spread the ideology. Traditional views of Russian Communist Urban Workers' Revolutionary Force and the radical change by the Mao Zedong in 1893 to 1976, the most prominent leader of the CCP on that time. He took a different path by basing his revolutionary program on the peasantry. His success made the CCP a powerful political force that ultimately won against the Kuomintang. So the Communist Party also won against the Kuomintang. Now, here you see the picture of the Mao Zedong. This was the long march from 1934 to 35. The Mao set up a new camp at the mountainous area of the Jiang and where the camped from 1928 to 1934, secure from Kuomintang attack. A strong peasant council Soviet was organized, united through confiscation and redistribution of the land because the communist parties they also wanted the redistribution of the land where they were going they were also captured the land and redistributed this land stressed the need for an independent government and army he became aware the women problems rulers women association so the people they were also like the ccp. This was the scene of the Long March. The Kuomintang blockade. The Communist Soviet forced the party to seek another base. This led them to go on what come to be called a long march from Xiang to the new base Yenam. That was a 6,000 miles away. CCP developed their program, End War Lordism, carried out and reforms the fight foreign imperialism. But the CCP never stopped. Okay, he developed their programs. He wanted to end the lordism and he wanted that to land reforms. He wanted the land redistribution. Its consequence important. CCP emerged as a strong and the popular party in China under the Mao Zedong. Now, the Chinese Communist Party, in the different years of the war, Communist and the Kuomintang worked together. But after the end of the war, the Communists established themselves in the power and the Kuomintang was defeated. So, in the China, we see that the Communist Party establishes the government. Now established a new democracy in the China in 1949 to 1965. The People's Republic of China was established in 1949. It was based on the principle of the new democracy. Economy was placed under government control and private enterprises and private ownership of the land abolished. So the whole economy was under the Communist Party. Now, the Great Leap Forward movement, launched in 1958 to galvanize the country to industrialize rapidly. People set up steel furnace in backyard, in their houses, in their backyard. They were also opened the steel furnaces. People's communes where land would be collectively owned and cultivated were started in the rural areas. Mao was able to mobilize the masses to attain the goals set up by the party. Mao's concern was creating a socialist man and five love father, that is fatherland, people, labor, science, and public property. Because all these things also concern as a socialist man. The commune system was modified and the backyard furnace was unusable industrially on that time. The Muse Zedong, the people and the people alone are the motive force in the making of world history. These are the wording of the Muse Zedong. Now the Great Protean Culture Revolution conflict between the concept of the socialist man and its critics resulted in the launching of the Great Protean Cultural Revolution in 1965. The Red Guards was used against old culture, old custom, and old habits. Okay, that Red Guard means the army of the students and the army both. Okay, they were worked against this one. Students and professionals were sent to village to learn more mass from masses. Ideology and slogan replaced rational debates. The Cultural Revolution weakened the party, disrupted economy and educational system. In 1975, the party once again laid emphasis on greater social discipline and built an industrial economy. And now the Zaipong kept party control strong while introducing a socialist market economy. The party declared its goal as the four modernization: science, industry, and agriculture, and defense, because all these things are very important for the country. Fifth, modernization proclaimed the democracy. In 1989, many intellectuals called for a greater openness and an end of the ossified domas. Students' demonstrations at the Tiananmen Square in Beijing were brutally repressed by the government. The post-reforms period saw the emergence of debates on ways of develop China. There is a growing revival of traditional ideas of the Confucianism. Now, this is the story of the Taiwan. Uh, Chiang Kai-shek, defeated by the CCP, fled by the 1949 to Taiwan with over 300 million US dollar in gold reserve and other precious item and established the Republic of China. Taiwan had been a Japanese colony on that time since the Chinese ceded it after in 1894 to 95 war with the Japan. The Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Proclamation restored sovereignty of the China. The GMD under Chiang Kai-shek established a repressive government, freedom of speech and political opposition banned, excluded local people from position of power. They introduced land reforms to increase productivity and modernizing the economy in the Taiwan. The death of the Chiang Kai-shek in 1975 marked the transformation of Taiwan into a democracy. Martial law lifted in 1987. Free election brought the local Taiwanese to power. The reunification and China remains as a major issue, and the semi-autonomous Taiwan may be acceptable to China. Now, the two roads of the modernization. The history of Japan and the China shows how two different historical conditions led them on the widely divergent path of both the countries to building the independent and modern nations. Japan saw successful in retaining its independence and using traditional skills and practices in the new ways. In China, we saw that rejection of traditions and the research for ways to build national unity and strength. The CCP has now carried out market reforms and has been successful in making the China economically powerful, but its political system continues to be tightly controlled. Okay, student, our this chapter is completed. Thank you.